infancy development so vital in the ages y'all cover from birth to 3 years? Like, why those ages?
Those ages have been found to be vital because that's when most of development occurs. And the children that we serve often are born with developmental delays, and that's where our services come in, and we help to find providers such as speech therapists, occupational therapists, physical therapists, even nurses and special instructors that can go in and help the family to help, go in.
Yeah.
They go in and they show the family uh, things that they can do, such as the activities, and even like with the providers, they show them like range of motion exercises and things that they can do with their child when the providers are not there to help them reach that stage of development where they should be.
So you help the parents be the provider when the provider cannot be there. So you're teaching the parents the skill to teach the child.
In essence, yes.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. So why is early intervention so important?
Well, I just think that without that particular service, oftentimes early intervention helps families find resources that they otherwise would not be aware of. A lot of times when you have a family who has a child who has a need for one of these services, they're not aware of it, and so a lot of times issues for the child fall through the cracks because they don't have a support system. And so while early intervention provides specialized skills, the providers who go in the home also act as a support system for the families because they allow the families to know that there is help out there. There are things that can happen that your child's quality of life, while it may seem like it's not going to be helped, there's some things that we can do, simple, parent-centered interventions that can take place. You don't have to have a PhD. These are things you can do in your home that will help your child reach the level that they want to.
Awesome. Okay.
Families resources that their child vitally needs, and to create, to gain access to programs, to be aware of things. And if your child does in fact have a developmental delay, these services help to get your child on track so that you understand that they are able to reach self-sufficiency and fall in line with other children of that same age.
Do y'all find yourselves advocating in the community for parents who are unaware that these resources are available?
Yes.
How do y'all do that? How do you reach parents who don't know?
It's surprising, but a lot of times, I know I found that sometimes our parents that are already in, once they get in, they, will talk to their friends and family, and sometimes when people, I know it's kind of hard, but sometimes if people ask, like, well, do you think my child should be doing this or that? And of course, why don't you just get them evaluated? Get your child evaluated and you go from there. If they don't qualify, then they're where they need to be. But if not, if you have a concern, that's basically where most of the advocating comes in. When people either ask or they have family members or friends that are already in the program, and then they start to want to know how they can get their child help.
Okay, so in our developmental psychology class, there's people ranging from nursing to PTA to athletic training. All of these people at some point in time will become in contact with an infant, with a family, with somebody, whether it be their own or somebody else. So our main question is, how can we help y'all as an individual and as a community to get parents and to get infants and children age 3 to age 3 access to these resources that are available?
Well, there are a number of ways to gain access, but a good resource is pediatricians. Oftentimes, pediatricians will refer directly to early assessment because they see the children, and so when they note a delay, while they don't do the assessments, they can certainly see if a child has a delay in an issue that might benefit from early intervention services. So a lot of times they will refer. So I think a way to help is just to continue to increase awareness about early intervention and what it does and what it can do, because a number of families, you hear early steps, but you don't know what it is. and so it glosses over. So I think just increasing the awareness. We do have a community outreach specialist, and her job is to just go all over the Region 6 area and put out flyers, and that could be anywhere, in nursing homes, gas stations, pediatrician offices. That's what she does. She just goes everywhere trying to get the word out. She goes to, if there's a parent organization, she'll go to that, in churches and wherever, and just speak about early steps. So I think to have individuals from the nursing world that have more information, or physical therapists that just have more information about early intervention and what it can do, that will help get the word out and help parents refer. Because a parent can refer themselves. You don't have to have a pediatrician or anybody else.
So it's not like a specialty that somebody has to have, like, referred to before
if you as a parent, you see something and you think there could be an issue, you can refer yourself. You can refer your own child.
Okay. So, what is the main difference that you have seen being made? Have you used early steps like within your family? Have you used it within people you know? What has been the major difference that you have seen since you have personally experienced it?
I personally, my son had a speech delay. He did not talk. Everything else was fine, but he just wouldn't. It was mostly gibberish, and you'd hear a word here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how I personally found out about early steps. And after he went through it, needless to say, now you can't get him to shut up. I mean, he's 11 now, but even by the time he was 4 or 5, after just those brief times, just somebody else coming in and able to pull those, I don't know what they did, but he started to talk. And
Awesome.
and it wasn't that there was no like he wasn't stuttering. There wasn't words were clear as day. You could understand everything he was saying. He just would not talk. So that was my personal experience. And another that I can say is, I've had some kids come in, on feeding tube, and by the time they aged out, the provider had worked with them, speech therapists and occupational therapists worked with them with starting slow, giving them different little things by mouth, and that helped. Or other kids, that are born like with Down syndrome, and they end up walking and talking, and just seeing the growth from the time that they come in, and the providers are actually able to work with them. So yes, I have personal and work experience.
That's awesome.
That is awesome that y'all make such a difference, like from birth to 3 years, that will last them for the rest of their lives. That's incredible. How do you get your funding? Do parents have to pay, or do you get state funding? Do you?
Early Steps is funded in basically through Medicaid. Kids are, we check in this Medicaid verification. Now, there are some parents who do not have Medicaid, and those children sometimes incur a cost called family cost participation, but it's based on your income. So if you do not have Medicaid, then you might have a small fee per unit hour that you use for services. But again, it's not often that there are any services. Most of these services are provided free of charge. And the case management, what we do, there is never a charge, regardless of your income, for us being the case managers for you. A lot of times you'll have kids who, through their eligibility, don't need any other services, but they get us what we call support coordination, and we track and make sure that any sort of issue that may arise during that period of time, we quickly get with the family and try to get them to the service, to the resource. Very cost-effective program. So vital, and at a minimal cost to the family or no cost at all.
That's awesome.
But I would also like to add, because we just left Disability Rights Day yesterday, and Early Steps is also one of the programs that are it's usually up there, you know,
all
on the
takes is
chopping
be
block
good.
when they go to make cuts. So we also have to continue to advocate to our legislature and to our government so that early steps can stay around also, along with the other services that are provided.
Well, that's awesome. I don't have any more questions. Do you?
Okay.
Is there anything else that y'all would like to say to our class or to our teacher about early steps?
Well, certainly we thank y'all for certainly having an interest and you know, your role in this. Your advocacy will help foster more interest in early intervention. So we thank y'all for even thinking of this. We really appreciate that.
Because somebody's going to have to continue with it, and if there's nobody to continue to advocate and want to go into early intervention, then where does that leave the next generation?
Exactly.
And there is one final note I'll make is that within early steps, we do offer specialized nursing care, but there is only one specialized nursing provider for Region 6. She's the only nurse that covers all of Region 6. So all the parishes in Region 6, she's the only person to cover it all.
Wow.
So yeah, so there's you know, we always need more people, professionals who are willing to become providers so that we can get services out to, you know, the sparsely populated parts of our region. So
Wow.
yeah.